The doors to the Viridian tea house are open once more. I can't even get through my usual tagline. Happy Friday. Um, I do have books and I've got tea to talk about and I've got a CD to talk about as well. And I am so excited about talking about this CD. But before I begin, I do want to say in my last video, I wasn't up to par, just getting hit with a lot of stuff, it's life. And I figured, go ahead and do the video. And I did feel somewhat better afterwards. But to Aisha, who said, sorry you're going through unpleasant things. I hope everything smooths out soon. Wonderful video. I want to read the Tori Amos books. I'll add it to my list. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, things haven't smoothed out, but I'm just learning to roll with the punches more. I really am. And to the lovely Miss Kim, who says, if I ever visit Colorado, I have to check out the Arapahoe Library. Hearing you talk, it makes me want to visit it, LOL. Well, the one library that I go to in the Arapahoe system is Sheridan. That's the one that's closest to where we live. And in fact, I just came from there doing a 2-hour writing session. For those of you who follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I've started doing these things called Today at the Library. So I have found that writing at the library it's so blissful. It's quiet, you're surrounded by books, you're surrounded by inspiration. And I just started it on a lark. And now I really want to kind of go like several times a week because it's amazing when you change your environment to work on something creative that you really just get the juices going. So for the 2 comments, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you can visit Colorado one day. I would love to show you all the libraries that I go to. All right, so, and speaking of libraries, many thanks to Denver Public Library for having these 2 books that I'm getting ready to review. The first one is called The Naked Woman by Armonia Somers. And let me just read the back of it for you. A groundbreaking feminist classic from 1950s Uruguay, The Naked Woman was met with scandal and outrage, clutching my pearls, due to its erotic content, cynicism, and stylistic ingenuity. The novel follows Rebecca Link's ardent, ultimately tragic attempt to free herself from a hostile society. I can't talk today. Having fantastic imagery and a brutal depiction of violence, Somers will resonate with readers of Clarice Lispector, which if you've never read Clarice Lispector, I highly recommend you read her, Angela Carter, and Juna Barnes. Let's see. So yeah, it's basically a story of a woman who, she comes to this house, her home, and she lays down and she sheds all of her clothes. And then she leaves the house and just goes walking. But she's been transformed, gone through a metamorphosis. And at one point she encounters a village and it turns into a shit show. I'm not gonna mince words. And the power that one naked woman has to this village, and just reading the villagers' thoughts and how they interacted with each other and how their lives changed after seeing the naked woman. And then even the village priest and how he was affected. No wonder people clutch their pearls in reading this book. And this was written in 1950s Uruguay. But at one point I'm reading this and I'm like, what did I get myself into? Because I've never even heard of this author, and it is published through Feminist Press. I did not realize that. But I was like, what am I getting myself into? And I was like, no. Keep reading. And I did. And I'm glad that I did. It was powerful, significant, symbolic, a wake-up call, and tragic, because again, it's just this naked woman who frees herself from all of the imposed limitations that society places on her, and she walks naked. She walks free. unencumbered with what the world demands of her. She just walks, and it's amazing, and it's terrifying. But I love the story and the ending. I actually read it twice because I was like, I think this is what happened. I think so. But I truly, truly enjoyed The Naked Woman. And remember, like I said, this was written in 1950s Uruguay, but so powerful and so haunting and tragic and just beautiful. So for The Naked Woman, I give it Viridian Tea House's 4 pots of tea in my brand new photo. I just printed these out. I was like, oh yeah, time to kick it up a notch, you know? But yes, I love the hell out of this book. And I'm just kind of reading a little blurb on the front. You know, what really got me was the interaction of, because she first comes in contact with the village through these twin young men. And from there, you just see this spiraling out of control. And you're reading this and you're like, how is it that, yeah, it would be kind of weird to see a naked woman walking around, but to go as far as they did, leading to a conclusion where you're like, there's no other way that this village could have handled that except for what they did. But I love the hell out of this book. I truly, truly did. The only reason why I didn't give it 5 pots of tea was there were times where I had to stop reading and be like, okay, what just happened? Maybe I read a little bit too fast. I'm not sure. But overall, The Naked Woman, fantastic. It really was a fantastic read and so telling. That's all I'm going to say. So the next book, I just discovered 6 Degrees of Separation because I was looking up books about this one author that I like, and this book came up in the list, and it seemed really interesting, and I thought, why not? And I'm so glad that I checked this book out, and it's called The World is a Book Indeed, Writing, Reading, and Traveling by Peter LaSalle. And I enjoyed this book as well, so let me read the back of it for you. The World is a Book Indeed chronicles in 11 rich personal essays the ongoing quest of award-winning writer Peter LaSalle to embark on offbeat, often startlingly revelatory literary travel. LaSalle spends a summer roaming the lesser-known quarters of Paris, haunted by the writing of the French surrealists. In Hanoi, he meets for beers with the editors, 2 military men of the Army Literature and Arts magazine, while investigating Vietnam's acknowledged great modern novel Bao Nin's The Sorrow of War, which actually I read about the sorrow of war in another book dealing with Vietnam, and I'm like, I need to read this. If you've read it, please let me know what you think of it. Other pieces find LaSalle on a strange nighttime drive through the streets of sprawling Sao Paulo, in search of landmarks associated with Brazilian modernist poetry, bouncing around Africa, I love those essays, bouncing around Africa to interview writers there when very young, exploring Argentine author Jorge Luis Borges' memorable stay in Texas. I hope I pronounced that name right. If I didn't, my deepest apologies. And traveling to Istanbul, Lisbon, Tunis, and elsewhere as he considers major writers amid the settings that produce their works. Deeply felt and replete with insight into literature and life itself, this is a collection for readers who love books and want to learn more about the places they originated, presented by a well-traveled guide with an intimate voice and a gift for the essay form. Peter LaSalle is the author of 2 novels, 5 story collections, and a previous collection of essays on literary travel, The City at 3 p.m. His writing on travel and literature has appeared in, among others, The Progressive, Africa Today, New England Review, and The Best American Travel Writing, 2014, selected by Paul Theroux, who I adored. If you ever get a chance to read The Snow Leopard by Paul Theroux, no, wrong person, I'm so sorry. The Mosquito Coast. That's Peter Matheson. Getting my writers mixed up. But yeah, Paul Thoreau is awesome too. He teaches creative writing at the University of Texas in Austin. And yes, this is the kind of job I would love to have. And in fact, one of my friends, Keith, who has an Instagram handle called Albuquerque Indie Bookstores, go check it out. I'll put the link on my video. He was like, yeah, I saw this book. You mentioned it. Wouldn't that be like an awesome job to have? I mean, yeah, that would be great, to be a literary traveler where you travel to all these different cities all over the world, and you speak with the authors who are there, and you read the books, and you go to the bookshops, and you read the books in their language if you can speak it, and you walk the steps of the authors while they wrote those particular books. Like, I would love it. I would love it. But yes, the essays were, some of them were humorous, some of them were very sad, but very insightful, very literary, and you felt Mr. LaSalle take you by the hand and take you to all these places. So you travel the world in reading this book. But like I said, my favorite was the essay regarding Africa. I felt, I'll just be honest, I haven't read a lot of African literature. I haven't. I read African American, but not African literature. And there's so many authors out there that speak of Africa from their own country, from their own view. And I was very moved. And I started writing notes and just thinking, okay, don't forget this author. Don't forget that author. I really want to check that one out. Don't forget that. But I love it when you can read a book like this and you get inspired, creatively inspired to just go outside of your comfort zone. Like for me, when it comes to reading books and all that jazz, I'm always out of my comfort zone. If it has a story that interests me, I don't care what the genre is, I'm going to read it. And I'm now embracing more and more international writers because there's some good books out there, really fantastic work, like The Naked Woman from Uruguay. I cannot thank Peter LaSalle enough for exposing me to writers I'd never heard of and writers I'd heard of but never read. So this is the kind of book where if you have a copy of it, you will be underlining a lot, and you will be visiting your library or your favorite independent bookstore to check out some of these works. But yes, I enjoyed the trip. It was a great journey around the world, and I am dying to read his other works, just to hear his voice through the words. So for The World is a Book Indeed by Peter LaSalle, this does receive Viridian Tea House's 5 pots of tea. It was an excellent book. It was an excellent journey, and I'm truly grateful that Denver Public Library had this book. And this is a book that I do want in my personal collection so I can mark it up and take it with me to libraries and bookstores to find these books. And who knows, maybe one day I'll be able to actually visit some of these places and say, wow, Peter LaSalle stepped here, and because he was following this author and that author and this idea, and it was great. It was a great feeling. So very much thanks to LSU Press for printing this book. Thank you so much. So now getting to the music portion, then the tea, then meditation. So for those of you who don't know, Project Records is one of the forerunners of everything like ambient, dark wave, dark cabaret, all that kind of stuff. If you're not familiar with the record label, but you might be familiar with the group Black Tape for a Blue Girl, the founder of Project Records, Sam Rosenthal, is also the creator of Black Tape for a Blue Girl, a very ethereal, goth, dark wave. So anyway, I follow Sam and Project Records through social media, and I saw that he was talking about the new release of this one band called Unto Ashes. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't listened to their music in so long, but I love their music. Let me just get this up here. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Unto Ashes, and that's UNTO Ashes, they are American musical ensemble based in New York that incorporates madrigal, folk, and elements of neo-medieval and dark wave. When you listen to their music, you are no longer in your present day. You are transported back. Actually, I take that back. You're transported to this other world where it's beautiful and it's gory and it's dreamlike and it's a nightmare and it's erotic and it's sensual. All of this from Unto Ashes. And I hate the fact that, yes, I'm a fan of this group, but I haven't listened to their music in a while. I hate that. So their new album is called, and I don't have the album yet, but I will be buying it very soon, but I printed off a copy of the cover. The newest album, this is just released, it's called Orchids Grew Here. That is the cover of the CD. Tell me that is not gorgeous. Gorgeous. Plus, I love orchids, so I'm like, gorgeous. This album was amazing. Oh my God. And so if you go to Bandcamp and you can look up Project Records, and Project is spelled with a K, not a C, or you can just look up their website and I'll put all their information on the video. You can buy the digital album and you can say, you know, zero amount if you don't have the money, or, you know, pay whatever you want, or you can order the actual copy of the CD, which I think they only have 300 copies. So I said, well, I'm going to listen to it while I'm working on my latest novel. And I found my brain loved it, because as I was working on my manuscript, I was also furiously scribbling notes for this album. And if you don't mind, let's see if I can find them again. Nope. There we go. So I love the entire album. A couple of the songs that I really enjoyed was A Song of Rain, I Became a Ghost Today, and their cover, a Madonna song, Frozen, sang by Brett Helm from Audra. And I wrote the notes on here and I was like, this cover is worthy and almost surpasses the original. I mean, I listened to it and I love the song Frozen. It's the time when Madonna went goth. I love the song. I love the video. But hearing this cover, I was like, damn, wow. That puts a whole other spin on an eerily beautiful song to begin with. So anyway, some of the notes. A Song of Rain. If you listen to the album, you know, you'll probably have your own ideas, but for A Song of Rain, I thought, you know, it begins with the sound of birds, and it's a song to listen to while picking flowers kissed by the rain, or wandering through an abandoned library that has trees growing out of the sides. And then I was like, I see this woman dressed in a dirty white shift of a dress, dancing among the trees, and I realized that she's a witch. And then I kind of switched it to where I was watching the person watching the witch, and I said, well, would this person dance with the witch? The song I Will Never Die. I then said, okay, well, let me go with this story idea. And I said, well, the witch has spotted this person and she pulls you into her dance. This is her tale to tell you. So she's singing this song to you about how she will never die. And as you're dancing with her and listening to her sing, you're starting to feel quite relaxed. So this is all, again, coming from the song. Let's see. Let My Heart Remain Cold. I said, you know, for some reason, I feel like the seasons have changed, yet the dance is going on. It's like watching the world pass you by really quickly, but in the middle, you're still dancing with the witch. I said, you know, it was very somewhat uplifting, kind of like a 60s feel, but really groovy. I Became a Ghost Today, one of my favorites. The fate of all who dance with this witch, and the last ghost that she consumes or turned into is whispering to the new person, basically saying, beware. So the song is like a cautionary tale, but beautiful. Orchids Fade. I really like this song too. And just listening to the singers, it made me think of like a sorrowful Greek chorus, like in a Greek play. You know how you have like the Greek chorus that will kind of tell the audience what's going on? That's what I felt like with that song. The cover of Frozen, you already know. One other song called Starfish. I was like, this is really like ethereal goth folk, kind of Tori Amos esque. Like, I just really imagined if Tori Amos dyed her hair black and, sang this song. But again, another beautiful song. And then Last Toast. And I said, listening to this song, it's best listened to with absinthe. I've had absinthe before. It's a life-changing drink. It really is. But listening to that song, I was like, there's no other drink that would go with this song except for absinthe. So overall, these are some of the notes that I wrote for Orchids Grew Here by Unto Ashes. Like I said, that's the cover of the new album. And Michael Laird, if you're watching this, my God, it's a beautiful album. Y'all should be so proud. And I feel terrible that, I'm a fan of your music and I haven't listened to several of the albums in quite some time, but that's going to change. That really is going to change. And if you're looking for, you out there in the universe is looking for a new album to listen to that is very introspective, and you can just drift away with it while probably drinking a glass of red wine or jasmine green tea and watching the rain fall outside your house, and you've got a really thick book in your lap. You need to listen to Unto Ashes' new album, Orchids Grew Here. Again, this cover is beautiful. I can't get over it. I really can't get over it. So many thanks to the people of Unto Ashes. Many thanks to Project Records. I loved it. Cannot wait to get my own copy of it. I hope I can still get a copy. I'll probably get one this weekend. I probably will order it. Yes. So thank you again. Thank you. So now, getting to the tea portion, no tea review, but just kind of talking about some of my teas that I really do enjoy. And this one is Twinings Green Tea with Jasmine. As much as I love Earl Grey and a good milk oolong and a good Darjeeling, give me a cup of green tea with jasmine and I'm over the moon. It's a good tea to drink while I'm writing or when I'm reading or breathing or getting up or going to bed. Yeah, you get the idea. Love this particular blend. And I'm trying to think, I don't have like a green tea with jasmine in my repertoire in my tea company, but the closest one would be Siren's Voice, but that's like jasmine, green tea, orange peel, apples, all kinds of stuff. But you cannot go wrong with just a simple green tea with jasmine, and Twinings is quite delicious. And in fact, their ingredients, green tea scented with jasmine flowers. That's about it. And in my studies at the World Tea Academy, when I learned about the different kinds of teas and how they made scented teas and all, and blended teas, with the scented teas, they'll take the green tea in like huge vats, and then they'll throw jasmine flowers and they'll have it mingle, and then they'll put a lid over it and let it sit for quite a period of time. So this simple cup of green tea with jasmine is anything but simple. So I raise my witchy cup to you. Green tea with jasmine. Can't go wrong. And I committed a serious faux pas with this. This bag has been sitting in my tea for quite some time, and yet it's not bitter. I'm not spitting it out. I'm not like, oh God, I screwed it up. No, it's still delicate, well blended, delicious, refreshing. Little side note, and I've said this before in other videos, but I've had customers come up to me, especially during the summer months, and they're like, oh my God, you probably don't sell a lot of tea because, well, who wants to drink tea when it's hot? Actually, tea can cool you down because when you sweat, that's your body's way of cooling down. And another trick that I learned is you don't have to have your water boiling. This water was at the temperature of just starting to see small fish eye bubbles. When I start to see that just slowly, I cut the water off. So right now this tea is warm, but I'm sweating, but that's a hot flash. But I've had hotter tea than that during the summer, and it's not a problem. So, because I always thought, I was like, no, wait a minute. If people can drink coffee all throughout the year, what's the difference with tea? And I just kind of ran with that tangent. But yes, this bag has been sitting in somewhat hot water for quite some time, and it's still delicious. So, quite good. And it's August, August the 11th. Anyway, that's all I have today before I keep rambling. So if you're ready for the tea and water meditation, make sure you have your cup of your favorite tea or a glass of water and find yourself in a comfortable position in a quiet room. And we're just going to breathe for a number of counts. So if you're new to this, welcome. And we're just going to start with 2 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. You can either softly focus on an object in front of you, or you can close your eyes. We'll breathe for a while, and then at the end, we'll take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then we finish with a sip of your water or your tea. So if you're ready, if you got your water or tea, let's begin. And now let's end this breathing meditation with a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes or allow your eyes to come back into focus. And now enjoy a sip of your tea or water. Good. Well, many thanks to Peter LaSalle, Armonia Summers, the wonderful folks at Project Records, and the band members of Unto Ashes, and to you guys for watching these videos. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to look at my silliness and for hearing me ramble and for repeating myself, but showing my love of tea and books and good music. Thank you. So for all of y'all out there, take care of yourself and each other. Raise your witchy mug high. And remember, to drink tea is to enjoy life. I would have my sign, but it's upstairs. So I will see you next time. Bye for now.